Hello and welcome to Penalty on the Podcaster. I just want to talk, where I just talk about things I want to talk about relating to the NFL. This episode, the Bears. Their spending spree is not what I thought it would be. So, before we get started, a few messages. This podcast is unsponsored. If you would like to sponsor this podcast, my email is in the description. If you would like to contact me for whatever reason, my email is in the description. This podcast is available on YouTube and Spotify and RSS and I think now Google Podcasts. Links to the platforms to all the platforms you're not listening on will be in the description below. So there's that. RSS.com is the recommended platform because you can listen or you can read the transcripts there. If you're on YouTube, please like, subscribe, help the channel grow. It costs nothing, and you can always change your decision. It takes about a second. Also, if you don't want to miss any episodes I upload, make sure to ding that bell or follow on whatever platform you're on for podcasts. Also, just something interesting. I live in Southern California. If you live anywhere else, I'd like to know where you live. If you want, you can email me. If I have any listeners from outside of the United States, I'd love to know if I have any. Also, I would like to know what you like about this podcast. I mean, I'm getting downloads, so there must be people who like the podcast. So, what motivates you to listen? And also, what do you like about it? I'd love to know. Contact me. However, my email is in the description. So, now, with that out of the way, let's get started. So, the Bears, I thought they would try to get more wide receivers and sign some different players than I thought, but really, I don't know what I should have expected. David Montgomery left, but they signed Deontay Foreman. They signed PJ Walker, so they're basically trying to collect a set of former Panthers, is what they're trying to do. They signed Nate Davis, but they also signed TJ Edwards and Tremaine Edmonds, which is Tremaine Edmonds got a monster contract, and he is now I think he's the highest paid inside linebacker on a 4-year contract or something like that. It's a big deal, and so they really upgraded their defense. They got the linebackers to replace Roquan Smith. They also got some defensive ends and defensive tackles, which was really big. They also signed Nathan Peterman. Then they signed Dylan Cole. But they replaced and Andrew Billings, the defensive tackle. They're trying to replace Roquan Smith and Khalil Mack and Robert Quinn, which they traded away. They're trying to replace them at defense. And so they signed DeMarcus Walker, who had a pretty good season. And they really need to upgrade their pass rush. Their player with the most sacks last season was a rookie safety with 4. Now that's huge. As a defensive back, if you get 4 sacks in your rookie year as a safety, that is insane. But still, that points out how terrible the Bears are. They got the number 1 pick and they traded it for a lot. They got DJ Moore. They're a solution at wide receiver. Of course, they want more, but I think the thing about the Bears, it's been difficult for them to get stuff like prestigious running backs or wide receivers because, like, OBJ is going Super Bowl hunting, and he would never sign with a team as bad as the Bears unless they would pay him make him the highest paid wide receiver ever. No way Ezekiel Elliott would sign with them because he's also trying to look for a Super Bowl. And DeAndre Hopkins has a no-trade clause, and he wants to win his first Super Bowl. So there's absolutely no way for them to get guys like this who are looking for Super Bowls, because the Bears are a long way from one. Unfortunately for the Bears, they're going to have to sign Justin Fields to an extension sooner or later because he's only going to be under contract through 2024. So they should really extend him before the market surges even more. Jalen Hurts is getting paid $51 million a year for the next 5 years. That's a new thing that I will definitely cover soon, which is crazy. But they're going to have to sign Justin Fields, who is really a great quarterback and very mobile. Like, he ran for 1,000 yards even with no offensive line in place. But they got DJ Moore. They also have a ton of assets. They got the 9th overall pick. They have 2 second-rounders, or at least 2. I don't know. They have so many draft picks to trade, to select guys. They should get like 6 offensive linemen or something. And they have like $35 million in cap space. A little less than $35.9 million in cap space. And then you got a team like the Rams who only lost players this season, and they have like $7 million in cap space. So they have a ton of assets for whoever they want to sign. They fleeced the Panthers, traded back, but still in the top 10. They have a first rounder, 2 second rounders, a third, 2 fourths, 2 fifths, 2 sevenths, which is, they have a lot of draft picks. They have 10 draft picks in the 2023 NFL draft, which is a good class for running backs. They have a top 10 selection, so they can definitely get a running back. I know they have Deontay Foreman, but can't hurt to get a better, bigger name running back out of college. Or maybe they'll just stick with a solid runner with Deontay Foreman, but they might draft one. They can definitely draft a bunch of linemen. They can draft defense. I'm not really big into college football or the draft, and I don't know a lot of college football players' names, basically past the hyped up quarterbacks. But, everyone knows that the top pick will be a quarterback because it's a deep class of quarterbacks. You got guys like Bryce Young, C.J. Stroud, Anthony Richardson, Will Levis or Levi's. Just a really deep class. So the Panthers will be getting a quarterback out of this, but I didn't think they would trade. I mean, they have Matt Corral. What's wrong with him? But, I mean, hey, it couldn't hurt to have Bryce Young on your team until the time comes to extend him, and then you'll go broke. I think I need to make an episode really soon on Jalen Hurts. I think he deserves every penny of it. He outplayed Patrick Mahomes in the Super Bowl, but he didn't win because of the very terrible officiating. But he deserves that money. But I mean, the Baltimore Ravens are done for. Anyway, that's a future episode coming in the very near future. But the thing about Justin Fields is he's a great quarterback. He's going to have to get extended. But the Bears have so much space to spend. They got over $35 million in cap space. They've got, even with 66 players under contract, and they've got 10 draft picks for trades and stuff. Problem is, anyone who has a choice not to be traded to the Bears will likely not get traded to the Bears. And the Bears really need to focus on maybe defense, but I think they've done a lot. Tremaine Edmonds is an absolute star at the linebacker position, and he can really elevate a unit that was quite terrible after losing Roquan Smith, but they've done very, very well. And yeah, they also got TJ Edwards, and they got an offensive lineman, in Nate Davis, which I am sure Justin Fields is happy for, and a guy who can really provide some rushing attack next to Justin Fields, who is D'Onta Foreman. And should Justin Fields ever go down with an injury, they got PJ Walker, who honestly is a great quarterback, and I think that the Panthers should have tried to keep him instead of trading with the Bears. And they made a very bad move, and the Bears profited, but I'm all for the Bears. I hope they don't waste Justin Fields' talent, but the way their rebuild is going, I think they can do very well, and hopefully let Justin Fields have a meaningful career. Although there is the chance that quite soon Justin Fields will try to leave the Bears, and so they will be back to bad, and Justin Fields can win a Super Bowl or something like that. Maybe he'll stay, but that's just about it. They have signed so many players this season. Also, Travis Homer, and for some reason, Nathan Peterman. They also signed tight end Robert Tonyan, former Green Bay Packer, and they have like 66 players under contract, which is a big number for players under contract, and they still have $35 million in cap space left. When the cuts come and when they have to slim it down to like a 53-man roster, they're going to have so much cap space, and then they're going to have DJ Moore, who Justin Fields can throw it to, D'Onta Foreman running it and providing some help for Justin Fields. But I think they've really made the team around Justin Fields better, and I think this is a team that is really trying not to waste the talent of their quarterback. I think they recognize that they're not doing enough for him right now, and so I think they're trying really hard. Like, we can't waste Justin Fields' talent, and they're trying to make the team around him better, which I admire, and I think their rebuild's going pretty well so far, even though I am nowhere near an expert in rebuilds. I think I'm going to have to become one as a Rams fan pretty soon, but the Bears really have done something that, like, I think they can go between, like, I think 6-11 and 6-11 and 10-7. I don't think they will be close to picking first overall, and someday they might be better than the Packers, which is a possibility with the Packers having Jordan Love and Christian Watson and then no one else, and Jair Alexander, and then basically no one else. So the Bears have really upgraded their team, and I love that. There have been teams who have just wasted their quarterback's talent, and they didn't really do anything helpful for their quarterback. Kind of like the Dolphins really sort of wasted Dan Marino, but there have been worse examples where a good quarterback's talent was completely wasted by just a horrible team that didn't provide the support. And I'm very glad that Justin Fields will have a team that at least tries and shows that they absolutely care. And so, it's a kind of good example. I think the Lions really wasted Matt Stafford's talent. Matthew Stafford was such a better QB when he was younger. He's kind of dropped off now, but they could have gone so far when he was younger, but they did poorly. They didn't have any real weapons aside from Calvin Johnson, and he retired pretty quick. And they were just so bad that even though Matthew Stafford was incredible and, just tough as nails too, but he was incredible and played out of his mind, and yet the Lions just ruined it. He only won one playoff game. No, he didn't win a playoff game at all, and made the playoffs, I think, once, because the Lions were just terrible and by no fault of his own. So hopefully Justin Fields gets some better treatment than Stafford, or Stafford finds a better team and wins a Super Bowl with them. Preferably the Rams, because I want the Rams to win a Super Bowl. But it's nice to know that Justin Fields' team is looking out for him, sort of. But they do have the assets. They can go on a further spending spree, and they can definitely make some trades, and they can definitely draft a ton of players with the amount of picks they have. And suddenly, getting rid of Roquan Smith doesn't seem so bad. Although, they're really missing Khalil Mack and Robert Quinn. But I think losing Roquan Smith, but you get Tremaine Edmonds and TJ Edwards. Yeah, I like that deal. I like it a lot. Anyway, that's really all I have for this. The Bears, I think, can be a really good team. So that will do it. If you want to sponsor me, this is an unsponsored podcast, or contact me for whatever reason, my email is in the description. This podcast is available on YouTube, Spotify, RSS.com, and Google Podcasts. If you would like to see or hear this podcast on another platform, that will be in the description. RSS.com is the preferred way to listen because you can see the transcripts. Thank you for listening. I hope you've enjoyed this installment of Penalty on the Podcaster. I Just Want to Talk. You'll hear more of me next episode.